we're now in the public hearing to talk about this existing lot zoning change that will allow for a request from the planning board to have a minimum, I think, 10-foot setback on the sides, and 20-foot. And 20-foot's the existing setback now, right?
Yes, sir.
On new lots. These are on old existing lots that were plotted before any zoning was put in Gates County. Do we have anybody that's interested in making a statement on it? Billy, you here to say something? All right, you out.
I'm just listening.
Okay.
I would like to say something.
Yes,
I do believe.
Well, would you give me your name for the record?
Carolyn Riddick.
Okay.
And I hadn't planned on speaking until that subject was brought up. My mom's home was burnt down this year. And she falls in the category where you were talking about, where their home was built years back. It was their home place, I mean. And it came up to the issue where the setback was not proper for what it was. And I go with Mr. Jordan with, something needs to be implanted. And there may come a time when the 120 days may need to be extended. Something needs to be implanted. So it is, because in their situation, they were older. They never had, I mean, way back in those days, they never dealt with things like this. So they didn't even know where to begin for the process. It took me and my sister going through the process for them. Their nerves were a mess because they kept being told they could not put a home back there. They couldn't afford to go out and buy another piece of land. So I think something does need to be implanted, and it needs to be something put in place so if in events of weather or your contractors or something comes up and that 120 days has come, they don't have that fear of everything's going to be stopped and they're still not going to have a home.
Yep. Very good.
Okay. Anybody else? I thought this was going to be a topic somebody want to talk about.
I'm a citizen. I want to talk now. You want me to talk now?
Let's give the public comment and then we'll go back.
I'm Dan Bowmore,
Hello, Dan.
and I questioned you guys some a little bit here at the last meeting that we had. And because I have got only one lot that way, but I have intentions of buying some more property. More so some of these foreclosed things that the county is coming up with and everything, because I went and looked at one that, oh Lord, that place, the county ought to give it to them to pay for the title or the deed. But anyhow, and then when I got to checking it out, I found out that I could probably buy it for about $3,000. I said, oh Lord, let me jump on that. I went out there and I looked at it, and the reeds was like this. In most cases, you got reeds like that. It's not going to work. You would have to go through a lot of fences to get the type of septic system in there that you would be able to use that property. And so I looked at the value of that piece of property. Now, if they're willing to sell it to me for $3,000, why is it valued at $18,000? The county is the one doing foreclosing now. Why do the county value it at $18,000 but they're willing to take $3,000? See what I'm saying? That means I would have to pay on $18,000 on a $3,000 piece of property.
We're not in the resale value of property. We're trying to recoup what we've got invested in taxes. And
I realize that.
That's all. We're not in the real estate business.
But I understand that, but there is probably a loophole of some sort where that you could go to and have that valued before the next 7 or 8 years, I would think. You could appear before your board and the Board of Adjustments and such stuff as that. They should be able to come up with something to make that more. And I give you an example. I had a farmer come in here and he requested it, and guess what he did? He got it reduced. All right, I had another man that is paying taxes on the road. And he don't even come in here and say, well, look, I'm paying taxes on the whole road. And he's paying on the acreage of the road because his deed for both sides of the property comes to the center line. So he's literally paying taxes to the center line of the road. And so on this ordinance here, I question the fact that I was interested in that if we implement it, and I think we should, and according to what I read, with the clause that Mr. Jordan mentioned as far as I call it a grandfather clause, a pre-existing clause of homes located close to a line. And I agree with something like that. And my question was at that time, if it was non-concurring right now, would I have to go before you guys and give you $600 for something that was already pre-existing in case I move something off of that property? And I was given the answer, more than likely no, that this would go in effect and that would not constitute that on a .99 acre lot that I would have to come to you to put something else on there and pay $600 to have a hearing to put it on there because it's zone residential. And as long as you put something that applies to residential, I would be straight. Now, am I under the right sheet of music?
I think what you're saying is if you purchase this piece of land and it falls into the category of being, you're right, it's an existing lot. If you bought the lot, it's an existing lot. And would fall into the category of being an existing lot because it can't be made any bigger unless you buy more land. So you would, if what could be put there would be what could be put there.
Right, but the key is that what's already there, like one of the properties the county is selling, you have an old house. I mean, it's dilapidated, it's not useful, but you could go back and put a house there on that half-acre lot because that's what's there. You wouldn't have to go through anything.
And I don't think you can put it there though because you fall on another issue. That house is underneath the power lines. I don't think you can put it there.
Yeah. On that one you were
That
talking
one,
about.
I think the house is underneath
right.
the power lines.
I think Billy went out there and surveyed
That would
that.
be a different issue.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. All right, any more public comments on this ordinance at this point in time? Tommy, you got something to say?
Yeah, I'm about to split wide open.
Okay, go ahead.
To help to answer the question that Mr. John Horrell just brought, and maybe some others might have here too, that area that we're talking about now is in Buckland. But if we get Buckland School, there's a place right down on the left-hand side, two-story house. Okay, in that area, you got about, I think it's 12 or 14 small lots there. And all of them were very small, and that was subdivided back years ago. And just so happened, this lady that put that house there, lady and husband that put that house there, that lady did come to the planning board and talk about it, but what happened, we did not take the stand we should have because she came with a dimension of one thing, and the lot was 95 feet wide. But the house that she wanted to put there was larger than what she should, when you might could have condensed it to make it smaller by rearranging the whatever way you want to do it, and then maybe she could have had the 10 feet or whatever it take on each side to utilize that. Now, we're gonna have that same problem again when the other lots out there are sold to somebody to put a house on it.
And this is what we're talking about, answering.
Yes, sir.
that problem.
Yes, sir. And what we also gonna have, if we don't do something about it, we're gonna continue to have some more problems because we got some other lots in the county in other areas have got the same thing. And we are not doing anything about that. And we can if we really want to. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any more comments from the public? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing on this issue. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, we're out of public hearing on this issue with the existing lots. Any more comments from the commissioners?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I have one. I want government to be user friendly, and in saying that, we can't really expect our citizens to know all of these rules, in this variance situation, as well as others, I'm sure too. When somebody comes to the building inspector for permitting